In this video, I'll be talking about the operation of your RV's furnace and give you a few pointers on how to solve problems you may encounter with the furnace. The two basic functions of your furnace are 1. To heat a volume of air, and 2. To distribute it throughout the coach. It uses propane and 12-volt electrical power that comes from your converter or from your battery. When you use the thermostat to turn the furnace on, the first thing you hear is the fan. After a slight delay, the control system initiates a lighting cycle during which the gas valves open and the electrodes in the combustion chamber spark to light the propane. Once the flame is lit, the envelope of the combustion chamber gets hot and warms the air that flows around it. The air is then distributed by the ducting system throughout the RV's interior. Several safety devices monitor the flame and inside temperature of the furnace. If a problem is preventing the flame from igniting, the furnace will stop the ignition cycle after about 7 seconds to let the gases dissipate. It will make 2 more attempts before going into lockout mode. To exit this mode, turn the furnace off, then on again at the thermostat. But before we do that, let's try to find the problem. There are ignition attempts, but the furnace does not light or ignites momentarily. First step, check your gas supply. If you suspected a problem with the gas, I'm sure you've already checked that the tanks were full and that the valves were open. But there's also a device in each tank connector that cuts off the flow in case of a catastrophic break in the gas distribution system. The safety device consists of a spring-loaded ball that blocks the gas conduit in case of excessive flow. This system is sometimes triggered when a propane tank is reconnected and the valve is too quickly opened. To correct this situation, close the valve, wait a few minutes, and slowly reopen the valve. Another problem can be inadequate pressure. To test this, let's go to the kitchen. Light the front burner on the stove. This flame is getting good pressure. If yours seems weak or vacillates excessively, the pressure in your system is probably too low for your gas appliances. Your best course of action is to have a certified technician adjust or replace your unit's gas regulator and check the gas distribution system for contamination. If you have established that your gas supply is good, inspect the furnace air intake and exhaust tubes. Some insects can build nests there. You've tried to turn your furnace on, but nothing happens. See if you have a good 12-volt power supply by turning a ceiling light on. Do they come on? Are they dim? If they do come on, take a look in the electrical panel to see if the furnace's fuse has burnt. The furnace needs a strong 12-volt current to work properly. The fan in the furnace uses a good quantity of power, and a battery will give you limited autonomy. If you notice that the furnace fan comes on, but that it runs or turns itself off without you hearing an ignition cycle, your 12-volt power supply could be too low. The airflow is likely too weak, and the electronic controls will not initiate ignition in that case. The furnace works but does not heat the coach well. The farther a room is from the furnace, the more heated air will have been delivered to areas closer to the furnace. Air will also have been slowed by the longer ducting. One can increase the flow to the affected zone by blocking outlets nearer the furnace, but be careful not to constrict the flow and shorten the burn cycles of the furnace.
In such cases, you would hear the burner come on and go off in short cycles instead of burning for longer periods of time.
If your furnace refuses to work properly, please call on the Alco VR service team for a quick resolution to your problem.